I practiced directing my short film years before I ever arrived on set. It made directing the actual film easier and far less stressful. But how do you practice directing a film? My name is Jay Sherer, and while I've written many films and produced a few of my own short films, I had never directed one until this last year. It was an amazing experience, and I learned a lot. The first lesson was all about collaborating with my cast and crew. Collaboration is key. The second lesson, the one I'm about to talk about now, is about learning. Learning what works and what doesn't before you ever arrive on set. For me, one of the best ways to learn something is by doing it. So a few years back, we released a full cast audiobook, Death of a Bounty Hunter. That project took over 2 years to bring to fruition, and that was after we'd finished writing it, we being myself and my co-writer, Nathan SCHECK. That required casting 11 voice performers to play 14 different roles. And as the director of that project, I got to work with 11 voice performers to record every single one of their sessions. Being stuck in a room with voice performers for over a dozen hours, well, I learned a lot about working with actors and actresses. So if you want to direct a film, my first recommendation is that you try your hand at directing an audio project. It's a lot easier and it's cheaper to do, and you get to focus on working with the actors to convey emotion through sound without having to worry about the visual aspects of filmmaking. But if you're able to record with them in the room, you'll get to observe how they respond to feedback and learn how to interact with them to get what you need for your projects. So now, from having directed the full cast audiobook, Death of a Bounty Hunter, I'll fast forward to last year. After I had a script for No Vacancy, which I co-wrote with Nathan SCHECK, I wanted to test the script to learn more about how it would be perceived by an audience. So my next step was to find local actors. I found an organization called Den Drama in Denver, Colorado. Shout out to Den Drama. And Den Drama is a group of writers and actors who meet weekly to act out scripts. I submitted No Vacancy and then got to observe how the actors handled the roles. Now, the way that Den Drama works is that as a writer, I would hand my script over to the person in charge so that they could cast the roles for the script from all the people who showed up that day to be actors and actresses. Shout out to Savannah from Den Drama for serving in that role. Now, in this format, which is somewhat chaotic and I don't have any control over much of it at all, I quickly learned that I had to do two things if I wanted the performers to be able to excel in performing the role. One, I had to give Savannah, the casting director, a clear idea of each character and what that character was all about. And two, I learned to make little notes, like we're talking like just several little phrases on each performer's script to give them a better feel for who the character was. In a way, I was already serving as a director in the most shorthanded way possible. But that was helpful because in order to come up with short descriptions like that, I had to truly understand the characters. I had to understand them so well that I could convey a vision to a stranger in a matter of seconds. My little dog over here looks like he's trying to be Batman with his shadow. So, Den Drama was incredibly helpful, but I didn't stop there. I still wanted to learn more. When I knew the script for No Vacancy was being received really well by readers and audiences, and I knew that we were actually going to film a movie, spend a bunch of money to actually go film the short, I decided that I wanted to do a table read in advance of that. I set up my basement studio, all of this right behind me, for a table read. Then I sent out a casting notice to all the local actors and actresses, a lot of whom I'd met through Den Drama, and I found 6 performers to be in my film, the table read version of No Vacancy. Once we got all of that set up, we set a day to record, and on the day of the table read, I would invite the actors into my house. We'd spend some time out in the basement where I actually talked to them about the roles, I described their character, and we discussed how the character fit into the overall story. Then we would just come into this room right here and we would record. I had to set up all the lighting myself and make sure that the sound was good and all that kind of stuff, but it was all in this contained environment. And I literally recorded the entire thing on my iPhone 13. I was the director, I was the gaffer and the grip, and I was an extremely novice camera operator. Directing and shooting the table read proved to be invaluable. I learned more about the characters, both what worked and what didn't, and I learned how to convey the story to the performers in a way that elicited a better performance. It also engaged my imagination about what the final shots would look like when it came to filming on location. That prepared me to direct No Vacancy and gave me confidence that I understood the story, I knew the characters, and could contribute to the final film as a director. So if you want to be a director, if you want to direct films, I highly recommend practicing. If you want to practice directing films, get involved with a group of actors like I did with Den Drama and start practicing. Host table reads, film the table reads, engage in the process of storytelling to learn where you excel and where you need to improve. The mistake would be thinking that you need thousands of dollars to practice directing a film. You just need collaborators, which reminds me, you should go check out lesson number 1. It's all about collaboration. Subscribe to this channel for more lessons I learned while directing my first film. And be sure to check out No Vacancy, our proof of concept short film, coming in early 2024.